Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord. Hey, and welcome back, Jake. It's been a while. Been a while since you've been on the show. Thank you guys for joining us on this Thursday night. We have got a ton to talk about. If you are a college football fan, you're going to want to stick around the whole episode because the SEC just released their 2024 schedules, and some of these are absolutely brutal. All of them are tough. And you figured that was going to be the case with Oklahoma and Texas coming into the conference, two powerhouse blue blood programs. But some of these guys, I don't know how they're going to survive, particularly Oklahoma, one of the new faces in the SEC. So we're going to talk a ton about that. But we're going to start this show off with what happened yesterday and the Atlanta Braves, who swept their doubleheader against the Tigers. It wasn't always pretty. The bullpen struggled in game one. Spencer Strider struggled in game two, but they won both games. They're now 4.5 games up on the Marlins in the NL East. I think the largest division league in baseball, if not very close to it. They're also 10 games up on the Mets, despite the Mets winning yesterday. So everything's good in Braves country, but I want to talk about one of the negatives and one of the huge storylines that is kind of sweeping all of Braves fans, and people are very divided on it, and it's Spencer Strider. He once again went out there through 5 innings, gave up 5 earned runs, gave up 3 or 4 homers after giving up 8 earned runs against the Mets. He doesn't look like the same dominant pitcher. We were talking Cy Young. Now we're not even sure if he's even going to make the All-Star game. I am not raising the red flag just yet, simply because of Spencer Strider. As long as he's healthy, this is one of the most devoted, one of the most committed players in the league. People are talking velocity down. His velocity is not really down. It was down a little against the Mets. He threw 96, 98 yesterday. He threw 96, 98 the entire season. His average fastball has been 97. It has been down last year, and he had a ton of success. Was striking out 40% of his batters. Had a well below sub-3 ERA. He can be successful throwing 96, 98. He doesn't have to throw 99, 100 like he was a year ago. Now, will it come back? Who knows? The real issue here to me is he's hanging sliders over the middle of the plate, getting frustrated and trying to blow guys by with fastballs. And when they're sitting on fastballs, putting them right over the heart of the plate, and he's getting hit. Anybody, it doesn't matter how hard you throw it. If you throw it right down the middle, it's going to get hit eventually, even by bad teams. This is the major leagues.
Yeah, you put it best too whenever you said this is the first time we've seen him, struggle in consecutive starts like this, or in a few back-to-back. The only other time I can think of was last year against Philadelphia too, when he just came back way too early and was throwing like 92, and it was very clear he was just not ready to come back. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I have a future on him to win the Cy Young, so obviously every time he gets rocked, I'm double annoyed by it. But I think he'll be fine. Pitchers go through stretches like this all the time. It's pretty rare. Maybe like 2019 DeGrom or something, or I think maybe it was 21 DeGrom, where he's just perfect all year and doesn't do anything wrong. Like those seasons are historical for a reason. It's guys struggle. It happens.
I think that could be said for any position, for any player in baseball. And I know I'm going a little off topic here, but it's just so annoying that like one guy goes through a speed bump, whether it be Michael Harris, Raisel Iglesias, Spencer Strider. And it's not just like AJ, it's not even just the casual fans either. I see the guys on 92.9 The Game talking about it.
Those guys are casual fans. They may have a job. They may have a job talking sports. They're casual fans. They have no idea what they're talking about.
Right. So it's crazy how we can all be a little concerned on Spencer Strider and just, we can lean up in our chair the next time he starts and be like, okay, what's going on? But he said it. It's not, he's not injured. It's his approach. It has everything to do with his mechanics. He's been saying it. He said it after the Mets series, how he needs to work on his mechanics. He just said the same thing after this start. I don't know why everybody's freaking out about the velocity. You said it best, Chase. Being down less than half a mile per hour from your average on the season isn't really your velocity being down. It's crazy how that's become a narrative right now.
Yeah, it's become a narrative because at the beginning of the season, and I noticed, and everyone noticed it, because the guy was throwing, he had the most pitches, I believe, over 100 miles per hour as a starting pitcher, and therefore the most in the majors last year. So yeah, it was down. He's only touched 100 a few times this year. But let's not act like he hasn't been successful. Let's not act like he wasn't coming into this game striking out 15 batters per 9, striking out 40% of the batters he's faced. Part of the reason his fastball is so successful is not just because of the speed of it. It's because it like rises up and it gets up on you so fast, and the extension and all that. His fastball is special far more because far more than other things than just the velocity. Travis d'Arnaud called it a unicorn pitch. It's not really the 98, 99, 97, 98 that gets people. It's the way it comes out of his hand. It's the spin, and it's all of that stuff. He's had tons of success with it being 97, 98 all season long. He's just not locating it. And more than anything, not only is he not locating his fastball, he's having a lot of trouble throwing his slider for strikes. And when you only have one pitch that you can throw for strikes, and it's a 90 and it's a fastball of all pitches, people can sit on that and they can hammer it. And I just think he's got to throw a slider for strikes. He's got to get better control of that. He's got to stop hanging it over the plate. And then he's got to stop desperation, hoping that some guy's going to miss a 97-mile-per-hour heater down the middle, because it's not going to happen when they're only sitting on one pitch. It's all about control. As long as this guy's healthy, he's going to figure it out. He's too good. He's too committed. His mindset, of all the people on the Braves, I mean, this guy lives, breathes. His whole regiment is about baseball. From the morning he wakes up to the day he pitches 5 days later, it's all about getting ready for that start. And I know he's more frustrated than anyone, and it sucks. You hate to see a guy struggle, but you also have to remember this guy only has 100 and I think he has 200 major league innings under his belt. Like, it's not like he's a seasoned vet. He's hitting his first bump. He's hitting his first bump in the road, and people are saying he's got to be injured.
A couple of things. Professional players, where NFL, hockey, baseball, they're a lot like pilots. Where like pilots across their 40-year careers never stop learning, and pitchers especially, they never stop learning. They're creatures of habit. And a thing that like maybe not be brought up, and it's kind of an excuse, but I just want to bring it up. And the fact that he was preparing to start last night or 2 nights ago, and then it got delayed. So his entire routine was thrown off, and we know how anal Spencer Strider is about his preparation. You said it. The guy is obsessed on game day. There are stories about this guy just going into, just putting his head down. Nobody talked to him on start day. And that's the kind of guy he is going forward. So when, his routine's thrown off, I'm not going to blame it totally on that, because there are things he needs to work on. But that is a factor in all of this. And you said it best. He's obsessed with his craft, winning. He will do in that performance. It wasn't his best stuff. He still logged 6 strikeouts and gutted through that performance. And that says something about him. So the guy's going to figure it out. He's too obsessed with the game, with his craft, not to. Too talented as well.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. He's a quirky guy. Like, I remember, I just thought this is a hilarious story. Like, he's like very vegan. He's kind of a hippie. He started a Bernie Sanders club at Clemson, which, politics aside, I think it's weird to have a club for one person. That I think people call that a cult, but whatever. Obviously, he's kind of a quirky guy. And, a lot of people are probably trying to like dive into his line of thinking and stuff, but I think that's probably a waste of time. He seems like a very multifaceted individual. And he's going to figure things out. He's a grown man.
Yeah. I mean, if this was happening in September leading into the playoffs, maybe I'd be a little bit worried, but once again, it's June. He's got 3 months to figure it out before I even really give a crap. Yes. Do I want guys on my team to win MVPs and Cy Youngs and make all-star games? I want that all for them. I think it's cool, but the real prize is at the end and winning a World Series. And this guy could do this for 4 more starts. And I'd be like, yeah, keep sending him out there. I know people would immediately be like, oh, he needs to go down to AAA or some crap like that if he does it for 4 more starts. But listen, he could go out there and do this for 8 more starts. I really don't care. Do it until you figure it out. As long as he's healthy.
By the way, no, credit to Detroit. Had a good series. We're kind of I think we're kind of overshadowing that. They played relatively well.
I mean, this is a team that had 60 homers or 52 homers in 60-something games coming in, and they had 10 against the Braves. It was insane. It was insane. Now, you can say that's bad pitching on the Braves. You could say it's good hitting on the Tigers. I don't really care which side you like. One other thing I want to say and mention before we cut to break is Michael Harris. The people that said that Michael Harris, absolute stud, 450 over his last 8 games, 1308 OPS, 3 homers, has come up with some big hits too, especially in that Mets series. Big hits, his homer, and I think it was game 2. His home run was a 1-run game there for a while until the Braves put up some more runs. So huge homers, huge hits. Looks like he's back. And when him and Ronald Acuna are going, we don't have to talk about it, but holy crap. I mean, the guy never slows down. The guy never slows. He had a 461-foot bomb. He had 2 homers yesterday. He had 7 hits. He reached base like 8 times. Like when those two are going at 9-1, I mean or Arcia at 8. Like you're 8-9-1. Is that 8-9-1 is all-stars. So that you wonder, like you sent it this morning, you wonder how the Braves are still 9-3 in June. Well, everyone's starting to hit now. And that's why I call it the most complete team in baseball, because when one team starts to falter, the bullpen picks up and the lineup picks up. When the lineup's not hitting well, the starting pitching pitches well. I mean, when this team gets Max Fried back, good luck. I mean, good luck.
It's crazy. This team hasn't hit its stride. Like everything hasn't clicked all at once. You know, whether it be you said it, the rotation, the bullpen, and the lineup, all three have not clicked once.
Yeah, and guess what? I hope it clicks in October, because that's when things really matter. Yeah. Coming up after the break, we're going to start getting into these SEC football schedules for 2024.